Tlingit cheese away a heated the she stock. Ye awa Konachawe has the data ya yutahuatangi that ya ha Tlingit yukatangi. Tlingit renach yukatla atki achu gwall has yanik achu gwall ya hasna deshan. Ye awa ach to was a go the cut way Tlingit renach yukatla atki kach aya kachagaki. One qanin saya chuaya qane hanaqaya has gwa art. A chawait iktain yeji to ne away that ye go ay one to cut you han. Ye way ayaki khoach qanakhwe yanik we dakqa tachyik e shawat chokatina ya desai. Yewe achachais, ya hashagenia, hashagun, achtuasagu konachawe do eat yitishi awa, achtuasagu konachawe do da etaya kenaltzin. Yewe achakachwache tlwasa atkakwane uhan, tlai hanakaska kwa aati yewe. Yok Tlingit renach yukatla atki. Yewe hatu yuk ya gao hajiditi akawe wutusaku data tinach sahayati. Wishkashnik tin aya. Yewe wutua ach kakachguk. Yinde naitsu yi achayi. Ye away the kelki has the ina kawani quick hach achgug. Ya uhansu, joya hatuasagu, hakak has kahatak has haat has hasadi has kahaish has halilko has hain has a kawani giaway data tinach sahayati. A kakonach away, hakainachaya yakakwada hayukatangi. Ya Tachonach at the tina hayati, ya kusachan katilla an in away jetunei. Ya achtu yek ewa konach, yuxatinil to cut yuhan. Ye awa gunil cheesh. Ya achtu asagu e shukwa ai, wait at away just do data ya yutachwatunk. Gunil cheesh ach iti de she jock, the cutway technology tin. Ye awe ha udek wan qanins aqwa kadzidena we atunach wushu qatutla atki qalla it wudishi aqonach aqa awe qone ya yantutlaq hayqatangi ya yagi cha hastu in awe khoni kwe qu atlatu qa shkundat yejani ya data tinach sahayati gwall ya tlalla tuwa ashko hajinak kaulatsisi ya hayuqatangi achawe yata just has to yuqatangi dat yutakhwatan yata yisatin ya shakshani tlaidahina we akhwawus wasaqati waqa fight for your language. Ye awaha ina kawanik. Iyukatangi kach konait lagao. Konach konait lagao. Kach awe ha yukatangi. Kalta sa ayach kuke ha yukatangi. Kach konach wuke awe. Duch edach ayi. Achawe ach tuasagu. Yeshukwa aya gwalla data ya wushu kakachitla adi. Kahastsu kuninachsa kleinach dachnach naskinach dakuninach aya weyelnach sati a ka kleinach dachnach naskinach dakuninach chaknach sati a achu aquch nach sati a yedu asago atsu ya de hu wetilla ani qa ya halil kutlein Ho away a qewa woos Kagwask. Data tinachsayati we Tlingit owe studel tu Ye awe yuk a tank klein awe hajit awati. Ya a shui aya kunach just du jin aya a kawa akte litzini ten ha ina kawa nik. Ach agag yek kwati. Chaklech kokakasti Tlingit. Ye awe ach tuwasa gutsu yidat. Stikatu han. Ya ha ye jini. Klesh haji yes. Hadde chanki sani. Hastu ya ak. Ye awa hai wududle tu. Kedeen ayashtu yil tu. Aka ye gach yidlak. Ya hutsu. Ya ha kak klein. Ka jak te. Yada aya jak a kaushechit. We an kadish hiti at tin. Wush jichu ish in aya wush. You has koutla atk. Ya Yata dat, aka awe kone yat chuna ya yuke watan, ka jakte. Yewe yukatan klein. Ay tu ye wuti yata, kash deki at aya, seke at aya yakach tu ti. Yewe ach tu wasagu yitu ye yeti, has tu yukatangi yidat. Kahatsu. Keuchne. Ye awa just du chuch aya du nakwu good. We nana dat aya ye du zene. A itch aya wush kanach tu da art. Ye awa hatu wasagu we ye kuku dat yuch aututla art. Ye awa chidzi Ajawe de chuch aya chwa yi nakchanacha itu dishi ha ye jene a te. Akawe kone yuch watan keuchne. Steutin ak ewuti. Ya da ten we kachis. Ya atunach yuch adudle atki at du yuch eit chaya a kaushechit. Ka yat atsu. Yak ye yukatangi. Atina we ye awaka. Kadane you did zane, Tlingit yukatangi teen. Ye awa a itchasandik ak kleshwush kanach to da ati. Ach tuasa kuko at takyagi awe kanai ak. Ha yukatangi yisla yechi. Ya duhu, ya achlish kohas. Kaklaqay. Daklawedi awe hu. Shakshani aya ishkitan. Kalkawu awe kakwedi. Ka jakti awe tlinedi. Ka an akitan. Keuchne awe lukach adi. Ach yach. Yahuko a daklawedi. Ka klaqay. Ye awa achina kawanik ya achtu wasagu we an kadishkiti ata tunachaya yuk achtatani. Kelkach wakshiyich koa. Ye awe deslin ach ayach aya. Hu awe wunuk. Aka awe duk eitcha kaushikit. Adata ya achina kawanik. Ya hasilko has. Wasa. Ya yuyati ya hasu shikade has ausatinen. Kayata ye yawaka. Chakak ehe su shukwa du da at yus ya was taken. Chakak ada yus khal atken. Has du da chanki. Has du ya ak. Ye awe tlach nach yak yukatangi akle yechwe gao. Yach tuasagu yisaku dasawe a cook ya datsu kin gesti. Ya ach tachan a jawe du tlilko hasaya lukach adi. Shangu kedi awahu ak eku atlatu. Ishkashnik qanachtidi ayi du ish has awe qanachtidi. Ajoe haina kawanik. Tan kaqisawa. Ishkashnik tuk aya. Eo ka adeshatsini ya. Ye awe adaya ka. Yido ayach qwan. Qustishadzi nuch. Kalkekidashid. Gyantatsu shkate. Chukin sha awe hu. Dech daklawedi sai awe du yatasu wasa. We daklawedi. Chutz nu wuch. Ye awe du inkachwanik ya. Ach yedi awe kudzati. Oh, yak Khatkhewus. Shawata kwalkak. Du inkachwanik shawata. Ya daklawedi du tawasagu. Ya du yatawe uwasa. Aka awe. Ya ach ina kawanik shkate. Ya ach tawasagu we sa kuaya. Du aya has uwasa. Ya khalqis khashawatke. Hutsu khawus data tinaksa has yati we Tlingit tu a. Ya ach ina kawanik yata. We yage du yukatangi. Ya kwash ashui aya we atshi yach yati yata. Yigo ayach kwan. Yilko hascha. Ich eet haswusi ach yidat. Yigo ayach kwan. Qodne ach tu aditsu. Yigo ayach kwan. Uhana ya halilko has tu itchyan tu at. Yigo ayach kwan. Shtakat yuhan. Awa yahuchi ayi kash atk. Ho away kagwantan. Sheet kakaya qanachawe qa'i awlatuan. Ye awaka chatlakdach hadachkan hakina kew tusanuk. Qatlitzin. Tsakushta yachta saya tushaki. At du jite yatqa tutien. Hadachkan xati qa. Ye awa. Ya konach hast du data ya yutachwatangi dat. Ya hachaku kaku. Hayanda shani a. Kaltakatas adusa. Kone hashukade aya. Ya hasna ati. Yak echawe gulchish. Responses, questions, thoughts? Okay. Anybody got any language stuff you were thinking about that you wanted to ask before we go on break?
Can you unmute us?
Oh yeah, you're unmuted now.
I'm just thinking that the way that you were reading those statements of those people, it was quite beautiful to hear the rise and fall and the rhythm of the language. And I think, for me at least, and I'm pretty sure other people, I would like to be able to develop that way of speaking. And I'm not sure if you would suggest just practicing on our own, like looking at this and trying to say it out loud. But it's I think that's something I would aspire to learn to do better.
Can you mimic the recordings that you have available?
I could do that. There's so many of them that sometimes I don't have the, I guess I'm making the connection between the writing that I'm reading and then hearing it. So it would be good to have, I could try both.
That's what those conversations are set up for.
Yeah.
have the writing, you can do each phrase over and over.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can certainly, let's see. I've got the audio for, well, probably all of this, maybe. Some of it I'd have to try and pull out from different things. Getting them out of the Cupid software might be a little bit tricky, but it might be neat to do some sort of bite-sized chunks, like especially with these sort of greatest hits types of phrases. You know, sometimes I just like to share things that just really stand out. As what I really tried to say was, it's all so big and wonderful, but there's just these chunks that I think are really neat to sort of share and to look at. But I can try to like create a little video, certainly, that sort of pulls these specific sort of lines out and repeats them. Some of them, and you'll see there's all these different situations when they were recorded. With Shakshani, we were sitting down and doing some work, and I just usually would translate stuff with Kakwan Ish, and I would have usually a set of questions to ask them before we started, and that was one of them. So I know I have the audio for that one, and I pulled it out and used it in that Downhauer film. This one, the video, and this one is about like 3 to 4 minutes long. It's on YouTube. And then like the way that I'm saying it is different than the way that they said it. And then this one is Walter Sobolov and George Ramos, and so that's one of Alice's videos. And there's a point, and they're just kind of going back and forth, and all of a sudden, Kajakti he just launches into this amazing stretch of language where he just talks about some really incredible things. This was a recording I believe we made just after Richard Downhauer's funeral, where we got together to talk about the Raven book. And I think we're all pretty nervous, and then Nora just gave us this amazing speech that Kathy Reddy recorded, thankfully, on her phone. This one is on YouTube. It's a video about maybe 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long, where he's talking about how our ancestors used to see things into the way out in the future through our language. And he was sitting down by the lake because he didn't want to be around anybody when we recorded it. This one is also on YouTube, and it's the transcriptions for this story are in Hausanech Hayukatangi. This one's on YouTube. There's only audio. Went to Jesse Johnny to talk about what learners need to hear. And then this one is from the Elders Conference that Sealaska has. I'll have to pull the audio, and then yeah, I was just thinking about Jukatine, Jane Smart. She's in the hospital with pneumonia, so said a prayer for her at the beginning. But you're right about the cadence, right? So now that we can pronounce things and we can read Tlingit and write Tlingit, and we're thinking about how to put verbs together and all this other stuff. But yeah, we do have to make sure that beyond the sort of manufacturing of language and interpretation and reading and writing and understanding more about how it functions, sometimes we just got to listen to it and imitate it so that we're getting the rhythm and the tone and the flow of the language, which is something that it's kind of a lifetime project, but it's really fun to talk with to folks and then to just sort of try and pick up. And I would say the more you study, you sort of start picking your favorites. And then, I really recommend, it's a fun exercise. It's sort of like when I was teaching poetry, would listen to a poet, or sometimes I'd just bring a piece of poetry in and would read it, and then would listen to the poet, and then would read it again and try and imitate the poet. So you could certainly do that, where you're reading something and then listening to it, and then just going back through, and especially some of the stories that are already published, like in Hashuka, that we have the audio for, so you can listen to it. And so you can listen to it and read it, and then also you can listen to it and then pause and try to just sort of replicate what you just heard and really mimic what's there. And those are some really good exercises to do. And so a lot of the stuff I share is sort of like stuff like, let's learn this stuff right now, but also here's a bunch of stuff that you can just keep doing. Sheesh. Other thoughts, questions, ideas? Okay. Sheesh. And do you want to share your screen, and I'll stop sharing mine and we'll get your sentences. Oh, you had one other question. I didn't get to that when I was traveling. So,
Let me try here. Oh, desktop, okay. Success. Is it working?
yeah, خاصتين.
Okay. Huna skun kuik. Tlak tak wush kanach gatu da ach haskun. Hakuik yuduasak. Tlake tazen gushuk handed gushuktin kat katlake tak shukwanach aye atwone. The kat ka gatu ik Skoonwank hastut lach kate ye has ana age. Has at gashij ka has at lecht. Tlingit einach has kandatanch. Tlingit einach skits ye has ana snage. Aga awe the kat ka has at uchait chat chat ku gag katlek has uchait. At akdishi yatak the kat ka hade has kagukdak eat. Kayani dis nazk hunak. You do what eek. You do what eek. Yeah, or gonna shish.
Yuk echawe. Sheesh. You want to tell us about those repetitive verbs that you're using and how that went?
Well, I was just looking everything up, and all those CHs are like, because it happens every time, it happens every year. So I thought I could get away with using those. And when I ran into trouble on one of them because I didn't know how to say we, then we eat these things because all I had was third person. Then I figure I could put has there, then they eat. Because basically I don't eat that day. I'm so nervous and running around. So it worked.
Yeah, you naced it. So that's a good use of those.
Hey,
that's Cook.
Wonder,
Oops, sorry, I meant to mute myself. Go ahead.
we could look at each of those verbs if you would show it again. Qashqe.
Okay. Yeah, let's go through one slide at a time and talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I saw an email from Yana 8 about talking about translating some of our work or sharing a translation, which I think would be a really good practice. So maybe starting once we come back from our resting break, uh, maybe when you're sharing your sentences for the Tuesday class, make sure that we can either go over them sentence by sentence or you can provide an English translation. I like kind of like going sentence by sentence because then we'll see it without English and that'll challenge us, but then it's not going to just go away. So, okay. So let's see. So I guess what I would share about this is whenever you see chaklak, chaklak means just all the time. That's always going to push for a repetitive verb to come. And so whenever you say chaklak, your verb needs to be in a repetitive form. And it can there's two basic repetitive forms. There's one that's going to end with the CH, and then there's one that the form it takes depends on its conjugation type. But basically the ones with the CH means it happens all the time. And then the other ones, which I'll show you probably after the break, how to put them together. And for now, you kind of look them up on Carrie's website. But then there's two types, and one means happens all the time, which ends with a CH. The other one tends to end with a K or an underline X or sometimes a T, and that means happens regularly. But when you use the chaklak, you're going to want to grab one of those ones that end with a CH, like this one. You see, gatu da atch, and so like we always get together. So chaklak talk every single winter. And so this is another good thing to remember. And some speakers don't always agree on this, but it seems like when you say klak, either talk, yagi, whatever, you're saying every day, every year, every week. If you say shtakat talk would be like all winter, all day. So from the start of the day to the end, whereas tluk is saying every one of those things that keeps repeating. Because tluk on its own puts things into a cycle. Like it's an unending cycle, which is where tlagu and tlagu kwankiyan come from. Wush kanach is a preverb, which means it's talking about gathering together. And then there's a certain type of, basically you're going to get a da'at. So it's going to be a plus D classifier. At is the plural verb for people walking. And then, And then haskun, that could have a possessive, haskunki. You could also say haskuni say inside of our school. I think it's fine, but it could take a possessive there because it is our school. And then hakuik, you do a sock. It's called our kuik. Okay. This one, 1991 talk shukwanach. I might say shugua, the first one. Shukwanach is sort of like, more like this thing happened first before these other things. Shugunach is like, because I always think of Shadag and how he'll say, Shugu come out sati. It's the first one that came out. He was talking about this boat that he bought. And then aye, the ut can go away for this one. Yewune, it happened. Atwune, something happened.
Okay.
Okay. All the people are always invited. That's such a nice phrase. Okay. The ik probably needs a high tone mark on it.
Oh, okay.
Skoon wan hast du tlach hast du tlach di. So possessive marker on that. Ye has on the H. Anybody want to translate that besides ashqeh? Ye has on the H. Well, hast du tlach di, ye has on the H. Any takers? Anyone? Ja also. Okay, what is that tlach? Anybody know that one? Okay. What is so tlach is a compound. It comes from tlech. Oh,
Just okay.
I unmuted.
Just go ahead.
good.
It looks like the school children always wear their regalia.
Okay. The tlach though is a mask. But yeah, and so but then you were right on the verb. Yehas ana H could be they always wear it or they always use it. It could be either one. So like if someone always uses the hammer or something, like that would work as well. Tlach comes from tlech, like dancing, the verb. Ka, on, ut. And those combine and you get tlach, and it's a mask.
So it means a mask.
It does mean
So
mask.
it doesn't mean dance regalia.
It's part of dance regalia, but I do think it means a mask in particular.
Yeah,
I
didn't
thought I
know
saw a mask
what
in
to
there,
call
but
it.
I guess that's just behind a kid, huh?
Do you know if there's a word just to represent all their other regalia?
That's a good question. If it's the big stuff, then it would be hastu at u, or maybe hastu at u. Although Nora she used to say, like, you don't say at u, you say at u. But then I would hear her say ha at u, and her mom said ha at u. So I think that one, there's some of them where sometimes it doesn't need that possessive suffix. And then if it's a good question as far as like a button robe and other things. I'd have to ask. I think I'd probably suggest atlech na ati, but it might be something different. I remember reading about it in Hatu Nagu Yis. I thought they said ashkuchet na ati, but maybe there's a different term for, your dance regalia. But that's how tlach appears in, I think, a number of the dictionaries. But we checked it with a couple speakers, or at least I did, and they seemed to say it was specifically a mask. I'll see if I can find a different word, though, for regalia in general.
Okay.
Okay. Has at gashich has at ech. Any translators out there want to tell me what that one is?
They sing and they dance.
Yes, they sing. They always sing and they always dance. Yeah, well. And so once you get that ch on there, you're going to get the conjugation prefix, which so you see the ga in the front, and that means singing is a ga conjugation verb. And we know that because if you wanted someone to sing a song, you would say gashi. Okay, sheesh. Tlingit chinach has tanch. Translators, that's the way. Oh, one more time?
We always talk in Tlingit.
They always talk in Tlingit. Although this one, if you're going to put hus, some speakers might go, it should be hus. We're going to want to switch that to the ot verb, which for that habitual, I think should be anasatch. But let me double check that. So one person talking is tan. Multiple people talking is ot. But it gets a little tricky because maybe they get up and talk one at a time, but I think we would still end up pluralizing that. So for them to speak or to make a speech, you would say has anasatch.
Enough.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay. Tlingit enach skits yes an the sneech. Translators, that's a we call.
Yeah,
I'll say it again.
I took it.
Go ahead.
Say it again.
Yeah, Yannicka.
They would make skits in Tlingit.
Yeah, awa. Yeah, awa. So Tlingit enach, so we see that there's the and nach. So whatever you look before that, and that's telling you what language we're using. De kinach enach. Smalgich enach. Deutsch enach. And it's kind of up to you how you want to refer to people. And then skits is, well, that's fun. And then ye has anas nage. So the ye needs a high tone marker. The rest looks great. Anas nage means they always do it. And this is the ausane, ye ausane, or that's usually how you're going to see it in the, or ye amsane if you're in the interior. And that's just they do it. It's a very powerful verb. That's our do it verb. For something to happen, would ye wune or ye atwune, and that's it happened. Ye ausane or ye amsane. Somebody did that thing. So they're the same type of thing, and it's used for a lot of different things, especially if you put yan in front of it. So like it's the same type of verb. Like you'll say yan ge wane, yan ha wane, right? And so then you could say yan yisene age ite. Did you get your room ready? Which really, and so yan uane is ready. Yan ausane is somebody got it ready. So that could refer to, and it's a really neat thing in Tlingit because you could say nadak ka ye nasne, and that's a command form. There's that na popping up in there, so we know it's na conjugation, and that means get the table ready. So that means clean it, put the things on it, whatever, right? And so it's a really neat verb because it could pop up into some things, and it just means go do that or go get it ready. It could also mean to fix something up. So it's used for a lot of different things. So it's a good one to learn how to use. Cheesh. Aqawish taqatqa. So this one, hasat uchaich, chat, chat, kuch, qach, qateq, has uchaich. So first I'll ask somebody to translate for me. We want to take a...
Everyone would.
Yes. So, Shteqatqa is all the people. Shtakatat is everything. Shtakatka is everyone. Shtakat yede is everywhere, or all kinds of different ways. This one could go either way. When you say hasat uchaich, they always eat. I think that's just right. Because then the next sentence starts naming them and then drops the ut because they are eating these specific things. So that's put together just right. At achdishi yatak shtakatqa hade kakachtakid kayani disi nask hunach yuduwaich. Can somebody translate that for me? Or any parts of it?
On May 3rd.
Is that a translation?
That was the summary.
Well, I see Hunach in there. Are you guys trying to change the name? Okay. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
At auch deshi. How do we translate that part? Have you guys heard that one before? Yeah, I hope. So at auch deshi, I hope or I wish. There's another way to say that, which would be achashches, but that's more like it's a little bit more of a leaning towards a prayer. You're asking the spirits and the whatever brings good luck out there. You'll see that one in the big stories sometimes. At'achdashi is like I hope, and then yatak this winter t'qatqa everybody. Hadehas kukach dekid. I would put an I at the end of that because that's what you're hoping for. So then you're going to say at achdeshi yatak stakatqa hadehas kukach dekidi. And so this is how you at achdeshi. Now you can wish for whatever you want. You put an I on the end, and that's one of the big steps. So at achdeshi dana yidlaqi. I hope you win lots of money, or I hope you won lots of money. And then the second verb, you could put it into a future form. I hope that this is going to happen. It could go into a perfective form. I hope that this has happened. And so that's good. Kayani disi nask. Kayani disi might be April. Hunak in Huna. What about the you do a ich?
Y'all are invited.
Y'all have been invited. That's good for you. And that's a good one to put on all your future ku'ik flyers. Ku'ik da ku'ku aktuasigu akach kaishikiti you do a ich.
So leave the W off.
No, the W's on there. You. So in Daysleen, let's say yim do a ich. On the coast, it kind of just gets absorbed. Instead of ye, you end up saying you. You do a ich. But a lot of times that W is sometimes hard to catch. But so this is another, when you're reading Tlingit, as you see that, because the thing before the verb ends with a vowel, it's going to cause that WU. Because you would say, would do ich, Chet would do wa'ich. But this vowel is going to push that WU to contract. And you're going to get you. And this is exactly where you'd get the Teslin M. Yim. Yim du wa'ich. Oh, and Jock has a question. Will Juneau schools have a catamaran to Huna for the day?
Yeah.
This is my non-answer kind of. Off-base school is going to come over, and the teacher there is Angie Wright. And I haven't talked to her lately, but I believe they are coming over. They came over several years ago, and there were other people that came along with them, including Keofne Satuk. So they were our honored guests, and it was very exciting. But so it's off-base school because a couple of a Huna family moved there, and they're going to that school. So they've been so much wanting to be a part of this that I think that's been kind of a parent-driven project. That it turned out well 2 years ago. Satuk could tell you about it, except the boat was really late, and then they had to leave before it was over. So it was very hectic. But it was wonderful that Keokne came here, and we got them right in the front row center, and so it was wonderful. And we were able to honor Keokne for all the help she's given us through the years. It was really special. So, cheese.
Yuck, cheese.
So that was my answer. So Angie Wright. And I do want to ask her about people from Juneau that might want to come out with them, especially the people in this class. So, but I haven't done it yet. Sorry. But I will. So, Chish for letting me share this and for going over it, which is really great. So, I'm going to stop share.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fun way to do, to do kind of a detailed walkthrough, and we'll just do that now and then, and we'll try to make sure that everybody has a chance to share their sentences, and everybody's encouraged to. Nobody should feel you shouldn't feel awkward or bad about the fact that you're going to get some feedback, and we're going to look through it, and I think collectively we're figuring out lots of stuff, because this is how you get there. And so I really encourage you to just keep trying, just to keep doing it, and this is how you get to that stage where you think of something and then you put it together, and then sometimes we'll collaborate and see how we might fine-tune it. So okay. Dasa?
Chet kaya Cajun sentences.
Okay, gonna cheese.
Okay. All right, here's my paper. Yek hatsi adi. Gunna cheese the katyahan. We at yetki igius. Guski ye kwan dach. Gwall watusaku wu yedat. Hayetki ye yatlatin. Ak at yetki latinich sati. Good children watchers. Atlatu has kusti yakye. Gunal chish atlain gunal chish. I was trying to talk a little bit about how these 51 counselors came to Wrangell to do like a crossings program and take care of our Native children for 30 days out in the wilderness, and they wanted permission to be on the land, and I couldn't this is what I told them. I told them that I welcome them for giving of themselves a priceless gift to our youth. I said that you're honoring them, and we're honoring you as guests on our land. You're taking our children out of their element, out of possible abuse and addiction, and you're giving of yourselves, encouraging our youth. You'll be there for them. You're teaching them respect about life, teaching them life is more than just surviving. It's about living. So we bless you on your journey. You're in service now, Creator. These are the ones you brought to us to teach our children to be human beings safely. And I kept looking at this, and it was really hard. And Ruth didn't get back to me.
All right. Okay. Well, do you want to look at any of those sentences? Like, to sort of walk through any of them?
I really looked a lot of stuff up. I looked at everything, and I have so darn many papers and so much written, I didn't know what the heck I was doing after a while. But I really like that one that I found in the Noun Dictionary about this is a good children watcher. I like that one. But, I don't know how to put it in. I keep looking up third person perfective, and it's difficult, all that stuff rolling around in my noggin.
Yeah, so there's a neat sort of process we could look at there. So like atyatki or adatki tletini is someone who watches children. And then to say a good one, there's two ways to do that. One is you could do what we kind of call like a verb that gets turned into an adjective. So we know that yak-a is good. And so you can say yak-a-yi. So it gets an I on the end, a very similar process to what we saw in how to tie two verbs together. So let me show you, I'll try to show you guys an example. Let's see if I could put it together on here. So what we're talking about is how to use some adjectives here. So let's say we know the verb yak-a, and we know the verb tlitzin, and we know the verb maybe which is dirty. So then if we wanted to say a good, he's a good guy, whatever, we could say yak, keep hitting the wrong key, yak-a-yi ka. And so this one, the ya tends to like to stay the same. So it's the zero group classifier, and it wants to just kind of stay the same. For this one, you would want to say tlatsini shawat. So the non-zero classifiers tend to switch to the A form. So it goes from tle to thla, right? And so same with here. So you could say, or wait, maybe that's not the case. No, I think it should go. A dirty dog, right? And so, but these are just using a verb and turning that verb into just to be sort of like an adjective. So something else that you could learn how to do, and what I'll put on our class website is this list of adverbs and adjectives. So here's a whole other sort of set of things that we can learn how to use. So the front one that we see here is ak-eh. And ak-eh is something that you don't hear, I think, used as much these days as yak-a-yi. But ak-eh is just, it's an adjective. And there's two types of adjectives. And an adjective, it changes a noun, right? So it's going to say something about a noun. And then one of the things that that we do is there's this little line that comes after it. So when the line comes after it, that means the noun comes after. There's a shukach adi name, ak e ish. And so when we see the line before it, that means the noun comes before. So to say stink eggs, you'd say kahak kasich. And so this tells you, where does the noun go? And so this is it's probably a draft. I got to take a look at it and see. And so here's some other ones. Katsku is an adolescent one. So you could say zisk katsku if it's not full grown, but it's not a baby anymore. You can also say kadzisk, and that's a bull moose. Right? And so this is a list of a bunch of different things. It's the uncensored list, so just be aware that it's got a bunch of stuff in there. But then you'll see there's some other things that there's this shun or chun that you could put onto certain verbs, and it means it easily becomes that way, or it's sort of pleasant when it, so tishuku is funny, shkahati is crazy, shan is old, yis is new. So here's a list of things to just sort of start trying out. And then if there's certain things that we got to give a name to, we could sometimes use uwa. So like someone might say, what are we going to call a hedgehog? And you might say, chashakach uwa. It looks like a porcupine, but it isn't a porcupine. So this is just another sort of thing. And then there's a list of adverbs. And adverbs are a little different, where they like to come right before the verb. And so this is another thing to learn how to start using. And just looking through this list, and also just looking for them. And sometimes if you're listening to Tlingit or reading stories, start to sort of notice them. Some ones that I think you'll hear probably regularly would be maybe chakut yede, because Anya Shahash from Tesson one time said, Chayek geng chakute ayayukatutla atk. The coastal Tlingit and the inland Tlingit just speak a little bit differently. Chakugeyi means carelessly or haphazardly. Ziyagin or ziyak, those could just, it puts it into a sort of a time marker. What are other ones? Qudne, it's starting to be that way. There's a bunch of these ones that have Dane on it. Kedane, Kudzadane, Katechdane, Kasayedane. And so like you could sort of look at how to put those together in different ways. And you'll see speakers who use these. I'll put this list up there so you can take a look at it and maybe practice some of them. Facing each other, facing away from each other, differently. Sometimes one qanins. So, okay. Okay, should we take a quick break and then we'll look at a couple other things? Okay. Cajun minutes, and then we'll look at probably our little sentences, and we have auktatzin. We could keep talking about the perfective. We'll see what you guys want to do, but take 5. I didn't unmute myself. Okay, now we're ready. So we get to pick, we can pick what we do next. So we can do suffixes, little readings, the perfective, or auktatzin. If anybody wants to make a motion, dasai tuuch.
Perfective verbs.
Okay, yekwati. So here is where we left off. Let me see if I could arrange this so you guys could see the whole slide. So this this slideshow here, we went through a number of different things. So we kind of talked about thinking about these different components in the verb as sort of a switchboard where you could turn certain things on and off. So to use a perfective verb, there's a couple things you have to activate. You have to turn the perfective marker on. The perfective marker is, we write it as a YU with 2 dots over the Y. And then the classifier for the positive perfective is what we're looking at. It must be plus I. So the perfective marker and plus I have to be on. So what does that mean? That means, so we did these the other day. So I'll say them and you guys can repeat, and we'll just do them once. But notice how the stem is the same all the way down, ka, and then look at the pattern of the prefix. So everybody repeat after me. We'll do them once. Hua ka, watu ka, yi ka, awaka, has awaka, waduwaka. So this is, and we can see what we're doing is we're going I, we, you, y'all, she or he, them, people, or it happened. So then we look at the classifier. So I was trying to think of yet another way to present this. So you have these 4 groups, 0, S, L, SH. Each group kind of has some meaning associated with it. 0 is just, it's happening. S or L will sometimes mean somebody's making it happen. S is also used quite a bit to say, oh yeah, this is a specific type of thing. L is used quite a bit to say, oh yeah, it has this thing. The SH is used to say, this is kind of an unpleasant thing. And it's not all the time, but that's kind of how they work. And they exist so that we can make new verbs. So we might have a verb root, and then the verb root can change. So ka is to sew. That's a 0 group. Sika is to tattoo. That's an S group. But they're the same type of action, right, in the Tlingit mind. And then teen is to see or have sight. So ayateen, she or he sees it. Ausateen, she or he saw that specific thing. Altin, she or he is watching it. And then kelkushteen, she or he is blind. So that's how that's moving between these 4 different groups. So then once you have a group, it can move in one of within the group. On the right side is what we call plus I. The reason that it goes plus I is we're saying the verb happened. That's what makes it go plus I. So we'll see kesh uke, not good. Yak good. So we'll see the ya in a bunch of these different verbs, and that means it is that way. And then we'll see the zero if it's not that way. Ye-ya-ti, that's how it is. Kach-ye-u-ti, that's not how it is. So that's what the I does. And we'll see this too. Chitzin, strong. Kach-ultzin, not strong. Ichsatin, I saw you. Kach-ichsatin, I didn't see you. The other thing that we have in the classifier is it can go plus D. So it's almost like you're going to add this thing to it. That's how I like to think of it. Plus D means the subject is doing it kind of to themselves. Or we're going to kick the object out. And so this is the difference between Chwaka, I sewed it, and Chwadeqa. Chwadeqa means I sewed. I sewed some moccasins and a shirt and whatever. I just did it as an activity. So let's take a look at these in the perfective. A perfective classifier will be ya, de, se, ze, tle, gle, she, or je. That's what, in the positive perfective, that's what the classifier will have to be. In whichever group it is, you just look at that plus I form, and that's what you're going to get. And so it's very abstract, but once we start seeing some examples, it'll make sense. Any questions about that? Okay, we're almost to the examples. So the classifier and the subject and the perfective marker are going to give you the prefix. The second part of it is the stem. So the stem in the perfective positive form, which means it has happened, you have 4 types of stems. And I don't know how much we've talked about this, but basically there's 3 things that are going to tell you what the stem is going to be. And when I say stem, that means what are the vowels doing? It's either going to be short and high, long and high, or long and low. And for most of the verb modes, it's predictable. So basically you have 4 types of stems. Something that's open, something that we call fading, which means there's a little H after it when you look in the theme, closed, and what we call glottal or ejective, which means there's a high marker, there's a high tone marker in the theme. So if this says shot with a high tone, if you see a high tone over the stem, it won't go low. That's what that's telling you. So that's part 1. Part 2 is the verb mode. In this case, it's perfective. Part 3 is the conjugation type. So we talked about this. 0 is a verb that comes to an end goal. Na is ongoing. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure. Okay, gonna cheesh. The difference between a stem and a root. The root, let me just write this on here. I need to make text. So the root is maybe teen. And what we're saying is this root has meaning. It means seeing. That's really what teen has to do with. When I say root, I'm talking about teen, and that has meaning. When I say stem, that means this in a verb is going to be teen, teen, or tin. So when I start talking about stem, now I'm talking about what is the vowel doing in that root. And sometimes I say stem when I mean root, but when we're talking about root, we're talking about the meaning of that particular part of the verb. Every verb root has meaning. When we talk about stem, we're talking about the vowel.
On the stems you have written there, can you say why you have, or what the meaning is of those three, teen, teen, tin?
Yeah, so the meaning isn't really changing. But so like you'll say hua
Why are,
tin. Oh, go ahead.
why are there three forms there?
The form is going to, it's a combination of three things. The stem variation, or the stem type, the verb mode, and the conjugation type. So there's three things, right? So like for the perfective, for all the open verbs. So when you look at a verb, if there's no vowel at the end and there's no little h on it, that means every zero conjugation type will be long and high in the perfective. All the rest will be long and low. So for example, eating is a zero conjugation. We know that because when you command someone to eat, you say cha, or eat it. So then we're going to say hua cha. It's going to be long and high every time in the perfective. Ta is a sleeping is a na conjugation. That will be long and low. So you'll say hua ta. It's predictable, but it's complicated because it's adding a whole other set of variables in. And so once we start looking at the perfective, though, when we walk through these examples, it starts to make sense, even though there's a bunch of information in there. There's all this stuff that's going to tell us what the ending's going to be. Then there's all this stuff that tells us what the beginning's going to be. And we're going to teach our brain how to assemble those two things kind of at the same time.
So is it correct that teen, teen, tin are all possibilities for perfective?
Well, for the perfective, you're going to get huasatin. I saw it. So that is a closed stem, and it's qa conjugation. It's qa conjugation, like, and we know that, and so once we know the conjugation type, which is given to us in the theme, then we'll say, oh, huasatin, that should stay low. And the command form for like watch something is shatin. So that's a zero. So that one is going to be huasatin. So with the perfective, the future is going to be easier than this one. The perfective is a little tricky because basically, for the perfective, this is all it comes down to. All the open zeros, whether they're fading or not, if there's no vowel on it, all the zero conjugation types will be long and high. Everything else will be long and low. For all the closed, the zeros will be short and high. Everything else will be long and low, unless it does not go long. If it ends with a pinched vowel, with a pinched consonant, like a or a ch, it cannot go low. And again, once we'll start looking at some examples, but this is what we're dealing with: is subject. So perfective marker, subject, classifier, stem, and we're going to learn how to put all these things together by looking at examples.
So
Okay,
for
good.
these teen, teen, tin, you said that teen with a high tone applies in the case when the verb is in the perfective.
The high tone, I think you'll only get for teen in the future.
So it's easy for you to, excuse me, well, to put those three stems up there. So would every root have three stems similar like that?
all verb roots can, so there's, I guess the default answer would be yes. But there's a few of them that we mark with a little X after it. That means it never changes. Like to love, khan. It's always khan every single time. And so some of them, they'll have a noun, that verb root is actually a noun. And those ones sometimes will never change. All the rest, they will change. And so one thing is if it's marked high in the theme, so like here's the theme up here, up on the top of the screen. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse pointer, probably not.
We can.
You can?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good. So here's the theme. So if it's marked high in the theme, it won't go low. If it's marked with this little cross, it'll never change. So this one, so that means if we look through, this one should be eight, all the way down. This one is open and it's a 0. So if we go back to our chart, it's open and it's a 0. It should be long and high, and that's what it is every time. Any other questions? Because we'll start just going through examples now, and then there's 4 pages of examples, and then I'll talk about the pattern, and there's 2 things you're going to look for. There's going to be 0 and everything else, which is very common in Tlingit. There's 0, then there's the other things, and the other things kind of operate the same, right? So we're seeing that here, 0 and everything else, 0, everything else. And that's the same case with the classifier. So these ones, hwa, watuwa, yi, awa, has awa, wadua. When we go back to this first verb we looked at, hwa, watuwa, yi, awa, has awa, wadua. So what we're seeing is the prefix up to the verb stem is identical for all the verbs that have a 0 classifier. That's what the pattern's going to be. So like sleeping, khwata, khwata, yita, awata. Eating, khwacha, watuwacha, yecha, yicha. So now we learn these different verb roots, and we plug the root in, and we get the stem variation, and that tells us what the stem is going to be. Okay. So let's look at some patterns. So for this one, the way this is organized is here's a 0 group. 0 and then plus D. Right? And then the next one we'll look at S, then L, then SH. Okay. So same thing. Going down, me, we, you, y'all, she or he, them, somebody. Okay. So, if we look up here, this is a g verb. The stem does not vary. So, if I say, and everybody just repeat after me, we'll say this one, khwat-a. So that would be, I found it. Watuwat-a. We found it. Yeet-a. You found it. Yeet-a. Y'all found it. Awat-a. She or he found it. Hus-awat-a. They found it. Waduat-a. It was found. So that's how those work. So now let's look at them with a, and so this one, when we look, there's a subject, okay? It's a D classifier, so this will be D all the way down. Ka, and it's 0. So those two things combine to tell me it's going to be long and high, all the way down. So we're looking at these examples, but what we're going to learn is that this gives us all the information to put it together ourselves. And then this line with the pattern, it's showing you what are these things. 0 plus y plus ch plus ya equals hua. So there's a bit of Tlingit sound math going on. Okay, so we'll do this one, and then we'll see if there's any questions. Okay, so I won't tell you what it means, but we'll go through that afterwards. So I'll say them, you repeat them. Khwadeqa, wutudeqa, yideqa, yideqa, wudeqa, haswudeqa, wuduwaqa. So going through, and there's no object on here, so it's not it. I sewed, we sewed, you sewed, y'all sewed, she or he sewed, they sewed, people sewed, right? And so when we interpret like the fourth person, usually if there's an object, I will say it was verbed, but if there's not an object, I'll say people verbed. Questions? Okay. So we look through here. Again, so here's the verb to see something specific. There's an object. There's a subject. It's an S classifier, so it should be si all the way down. Si, 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 si. Teen, it's closed, and it's qa. Because it's qa, it should be long and low. And that's what it is, all the way down. Oops. Teen, 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 teen. Okay? For the second verb, it's D plus, oh, sorry. It's A. Well, actually, that should be, well, we'll just leave it. Gay, so it's got a couple of things that pop up before the verb. Subject, D plus S, that means it should be Z all the way down. Z, 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 Z. Geet, but it's a 0, so it should be short. Git, 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 git. Okay? So here's another sort of pattern thing. So you've got chwase, chwadze, wutuse, wutudze, yise, yidze, yise, yidze, ause, wudze, wududze, wududze. So there's a couple things to note here as far as building up your pattern building skills. Once you put a classifier or a consonant into the classifier, the letter S, the DZ sound, no matter what it is, the pattern will be the same, but that consonant will change. Chwade, chwase, chwadze, chwashe, chwadle, chwashe, chwadje. But the pattern is built exactly the same, except for that one change. So that's why I like to say there's 0 and everything else. And then we get chwasatin, watusatin, yisatin, yisatin, ausatin, hasausatin, wududzatin. So going through, I saw it, we saw it, or him or her, you saw it, y'all saw it, she or he saw it, they saw it was seen. So let's do the other verb. So we see long and low, short and high. A gate chodzegit. A gate wutudzegit. A gate yidzegit. A gate yidzegit. A gate wudzegit. A gate has wudzegit. A gate wududzegit. So going through here, I broke the law. We broke the law. You broke the law. Y'all broke the law. She or he broke the law. They broke the law. People broke the law. Questions?
It would be helpful for me to see, or I'm wondering if it would be useful, because we have the little theme at the top of the verb, and then if we had those two other cards, then we would be able to see how they work. You know, the two cards that show the plus I and the U and all that stuff. I mean, do we need those two parts to be able to tell how those stems are going to be used?
The classifier chart?
Well, there's two, yeah, the classifier chart and then that other one, the one with all the CV things on it.
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly go back to them, but then even though so this says, when you look at the theme, this will tell you what the classifier will be every time for the positive perfective. It must be these. It has to be plus I. So it has to be ya, di, si, zi, tle, gle, shi, or j. And so when we look, here's the plus I versions. Ya, di, si, zi, tle, gle, shi, j. So when we look at that theme, if we're going to use it in the perfective, then once our eye spots that classifier, oh, that's going to be ya. Oh, that's going to be di. Right? And so we learn how to sort of look at that and then remember which one it's going to be. Because it basically has only two versions. So there's zero or ya, da or di, sa or si, s or zi, tla or hle, or gle, sha, shi, sh, j. For the perfective positive, it must always be these plus I versions. So that's the classifier. For the stem, all of the open ones, zero is going to be long and high, everything else will be long and low. Closed ones, zero will be short and high, everything else will be long and low. So we can have the chart, and the chart shows you stuff, but actually, once you take a look, like if we look at these blank ones, ach, and it's a zero. What do you think that stem is going to be like? So going back, every open one, zeros will be long and high, everything else long and low. Closed ones, zeros will be short and high, everything else will be long and low, unless there's no low version. So we see this. Is that open or closed?
Is it closed?
It is closed because it ends with a consonant. A closed zero will be... Oh, maybe someone's got an answer.
Long and low.
Well, let's go back to the chart. Every closed zero will be short and high. Every time. Every time. Short and high. Zero, short and high. Everything else long and low. And yeah, to be clear, that's a good question, Sakinia. C is consonant, V is vowel. And that's just showing you no matter what consonant or vowel it is, that's what it's going to be. And CVC is consonant, vowel, consonant. Yes, so CVC means that's a short vowel. CVVC means that's a long vowel. So this is introducing like another way to look at vowels and consonants, and we're just building patterns, and it's a weird way. It's a different way than sort of doing whole language and stuff, but it does teach you the patterns. And so, for example, so we saw these ones: chwasetin, watusetin, yisetin, yisetin, ausetin, husausetin, wadudzetin. A gate chodzegit, a gate watudzegit, a gate yidzegit, a gate yidzegit, a gate woodzegit, a gate huswoodzegit, a gate wadudzegit. So there's some things we're paying attention to. Chwase, chwadze, watuse, watudze, yise, yidze, yise, yidze, ause, woodze, wadudze, wadudze, teen, 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 get. Okay? Let's look at another example. So this one, as we look at it, there's an object, and we need to know if there's an object, because that's why it's going to be ausle. No object here, wusle, for third person. There's a subject. These are L classifiers, so it's going to be hle all the way down. This is na. It's not zero, and it's closed, long and low. This one, not zero, open, long and low. D plus L, it'll be gle, all the way down. So by doing these, and so what the steps are is we sort of introduce the concepts, crunch on it with our brains for a little bit, look at these examples, and then we're going to show you blank ones, and you guys are going to put them together one by one. And so, sort of like we've taken turns reading, now we're going to take turns guessing what the verb form is going to be. And by doing this, we'll learn that we can get it right. We'll get it right. Dasa.
Can you go really slow with just one or two of those again and sort of relate it to, we're looking at the classifier chart and the stem variation. Could you do it again? I just need some.
Yep. So when we learn how to read a theme, so we're going to look at this one up here, O, S, L, there's our root, oots, na, and that's all we want to pay attention to right now. So there's an object. That means when I use it for the third person, I should expect ausle when we're putting these forms together. There's a subject. That means someone can do it. Cha, tu, I, ye, 0, 0, du. There's an L classifier. Because it's a positive perfective, it must be tle every time. And so we see it all the way down. Tle, tle, tle. Oots, that's the verb root. It's closed. It's not zero. That means it must be long and low. So as we go through them, to break a rope-like object, chotlik oots, I broke it. Watutlik oots, we broke it. Yitlik oots, you broke it. Yitlik oots, you all broke it. Outlik oots, she or he broke it. Hus outlik oots, they broke it. Wududlik oots, It was broken. So then we look at the next one. There's no object, so the third person should be w instead of outle. For those of you who are from Teslin, when we get the perfective marker with a vowel before it and then a consonant in the classifier, that's when it will be the M. Amlikoots. Has amlikoots. That's how the M works in Teslin. So, if we're ready to throw up, chwadliku. Oh, sorry. So let me show you this. So it's open and it's na. We expect it will be long and low. Long and low, long and low, long and low. Chwadliku. I threw up. Wutudliku. We threw up. Yidliku. You threw up. Yidliku. Y'all threw up. Woodliku. She or he threw up. Huswoodliku. They threw up. Wududliku. People threw up. Everybody okay? Questions? So there's one more classifier group to look at. This is the SH. And then we're going to go through and start our predictions. So again, as we read the theme, there's an object. It should be aushe or amshe if we're in Teslin. There's a subject. All of these will have a subject. Right? It's an SH classifier, so the plus I version is she. She, 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 she. Oop, j down there. We'll get to that later. On, closed, not a zero. It should be long and low. On, on, on. So then, khwashe, on. Khwashik on. I hate it. Watushik on. We hate it. Okay. Yishik on. You hate it. Ye shik on. Y'all hate it. Aushik on. She or he hates it. Hus aushik on. They hate it. Wadujik on. It is hated. Second one has an object. So that we expect auja or umja. It has a subject. It's D plus H. So we expect it to be j. There's the D plus H. There's the plus I. J. J all the way down. Kuch. It is closed and zero, so we expect it to be short and high. All of those things turn out to be true. Chachakch. I brought food to the party. Watujachch. We brought food to the party. Yijachch. You brought food to the party. Yijachch. Y'all brought food to the party. Auchachch. She or he brought food to the party. Hus auchachch. They brought food to the party. Wutdujakuch. Food was brought to the party. Okay, questions, thoughts? Everybody's brain thoroughly scrambled.
Could you go back to fire slot?
Yep.
So each is sh, sh, j, si,
You know.
whatever that is, de, all the differences there is that the plus D is voiced. It's a voice
Yes,
of the other.
that is true. Except for the ya and di.
Yeah.
The other was.
So if here's these
So for the plus I, there's voicing in the, how would you characterize these green squares or rectangles?
Yeah, I was just trying to sort of think about differentiating between a plus D means we'll give it a blue shade, and a plus I is we'll give it kind of an orangey yellow shade. And then you can
Yeah.
have plus D and plus I, which would be a green shade.
What I mean, the plus I plus, what's the meaning that those?
Yeah, so for these exercises, what I would say is when you look at a theme, that tells you what the classifier is. And so now we say D plus 0, it's got to be one of these two, da or di. And it's only going to be di if it has happened. It's almost always going to be da. Future will be da, negatives will all be da. The positive perfective will be di. So that's how I start thinking about the classifier. And if I look at this one, it's an L. So it has to be th or th. It'll be th in the positive perfective and th in just about every other form. So that's why I think of it as sort of the I gets kind of activated in the perfective form to say, yes, that verb did indeed happen. And then yaktishi, when we say 0 means short and high and 0 means long and high for opens, that's only in the perfective. But for the perfective, that's going to be the pattern every time. So what we'll do, take a look at this. There's a chapter, there's a reading I think I put up of a chapter that's going to be the next probably book for teaching Tlingit. And if you got ideas on how to teach this stuff as well, let me know. We're making cards, we're doing flashcards, different stuff. But basically the next step is we take a look at these two verbs and we're going to predict what it's going to be. And what we'll find is once we get the first one, we'll get the next ones much easier, because then it'll just show us how the whole thing gets put together. And so when we get back from break, we'll just start walking through these. And it does, I mean, it's a lot to process. There's these moving parts, but there's only so many things. The subject, the perfective marker, the classifier, which can only be one of those groups. So we look up, this will be ya, all the way down on both sides. Ya, 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 ya. These are both closed. These are both zeros. So we should expect and in, short and high, all the way down. The rest is going to be hua, hua, watua, watua, yi, 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 yi. These both have objects, awa, awa, hus awa, wadua, wadua. So the quick sort of look ahead is we say boom. Ah,
I need to go.
okay. Gulchish. Hooch away, Johan. Wushigach Tustin. In 2 weeks. Have a great break. Thanks for all your efforts, and we'll put things up on the class website tonight. I will.
Gulchish connect.
Ah, Yakecha.